Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Hey, Thrive Loud listeners, welcome to the 500th episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond. I had the pleasure on August 11th, 2020, to sit down with 5 amazing guests from the 5 centuries of guests we've had here on Thrive Loud. Andy Monfried, Ramon Ray, Molly Mahoney, Sue Bryce, and LettaJ Watts. An absolutely unbelievable conversation that we had, and we ran into some technical difficulties. We actually were supposed to air the episode live on Facebook Live, but we ran into some kinks. But fortunately, we were able to record some of it, so it got posted up kind of after the fact, which is okay, because we watch everything on demand these days. Isn't that how things are? And that's how we listen to podcasts. But you're going to get a chance to hear most of the interview here. We jump right in at the very beginning. A little bit of apologies to Ramon Ray. We missed out on what he's been doing, but he makes up for it in full, as you'll learn in this episode. But you're going to hear from each of them on what they've been doing over the last year or so, and specifically what they've been doing during this time of COVID and how they've maybe reshifted their business, their brands. And each of them are just so unbelievably inspiring and entrepreneurial and motivational and really great leaders in their own right. You're going to hear a lot of their stories, and you're also going to learn the question that we've been asking a lot of the guests that have been on Thrive Loud, if you've been watching us on social media, which is, how can we thrive together? That being said, you're going to love the end of the episode, where maybe I get a little verklempt or emotional, as Ramon took the microphone and drilled down, and you'll have to listen all the way to the end to hear what these great 5 people said. Also going to give you a little apology for the sound quality, because it's always a little challenging when you have 5 people, 6 people technically, on one interview. So you'll be able to make it all out. And Jaye Watts, she also lost her voice, which was a bummer, because I kind of wanted her and Molly to do a duet, but that just wasn't happening. So in place of that duet, playing underneath me right now is LettaJ's song, Love is Love. So sit back and enjoy a fun celebration here on Thrive Loud, the 500th episode. And we kind of jump right in when Sue Bryce is sharing exactly what she's up to. And from then it kind of flows real simply. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the 500th episode of Thrive Loud.
I think my world got smaller, not when COVID hit, because now I've got friends, companies ringing us going, get us online now. You were already there. Now my whole world, I'm in quarantine right now, in quarantine. I have 2 of my team members that have been in quarantine for 4.5 months, and we are fully active broadcasting around the world on a weekly basis.
I know what's interesting in your space, Sue, is, and what I've always found you so innovative. The last time that we met in New York City, and we sat down and you told me, when I thought of you as a photographer, you instantly switched and explained that you were really this educator. And even more importantly, a business leader. And how you transformed your business, whether you knew it or not, you were perfectly positioned in an environment of so many people who have this content, need to learn. And as we do start to get back in front, I think you've kind of led the way a little bit in your world in this. Would you agree with me?
I identify there are 15 monetizable platforms online. So I've written curated content and monetized all 15 of them. So I'm currently writing a book about those 15 platforms and how to curate and monetize, because I found there are so many people that can adapt their business to online, and this pandemic has really created change. 2008 gave birth to more creative online businesses than I've ever seen. When people come out of this pandemic, it's a mixture between, I need to change my life, I'm not going to live like this anymore, I will never be in that situation again, I lost my job, my career, I thought I was going in this direction, I got turned about, and now I've given birth to this, and it's the rise of creativity and freedom. And there's just so much power in this trauma right now. There's so much power comes out of it. Very true. And I think it's so true in that. Yeah. I'm going to bounce over here. Let's go to Andy, because this is interesting.
as I think one of the things, and I speak from this specifically because I had the good fortune of actually during this breakdown of COVID working with Andy and his organization, and what an impressive company it is. Andy, if you could share a little bit about what's going on with LettaJ today, what's going on with you, and then we're going to talk a little bit about your radio voice.
Sure. So I started a software business 14 years ago, and it was all about managing customer data. It was all about how to take the consumer information and make it supercharged so that any brand, any marketer, any content holder, any publisher would find value in all the signals, the broken signals, and then unifying that information and enriching it so that it was a customer profile. And so companies could come and say, we want to reach 28-year-old females who buy, soccer equipment, and we would be able to put that together for them. And that business has evolved over the 14 years to today, where it's all about television, connected TV. Yeah. It's all about the different ways that mobile devices are being used. And I guess at the genesis and the heart of it all is identity. And in a world where browsers are now stopping how information is being transmitted, how do you continue to persist in a privacy compliant way for brands and marketers and publishers, a mechanism that allows them to still communicate with a customer, abiding by all the laws, and still tell a great story? And at the heart of it, that's what we do. So we have 300 plus customers, brands, marketers who rely on us to do just that. And I tell people all the time, if everything I've said means nothing to you, at the heart of it, it's all about the big data thing. Yeah. All this information, I liken it to exhaust. We're just collecting all this exhaust and making sure that we're making marketing more efficient.
Are you having fun, Andy?
If you ask me today, the answer is yes today. It's not every day that I'm having fun. I have to tell you, today I was on a 2-hour privacy call with about how the laws in Europe and the US are changing so rapidly. And so that stuff like that absolutely is bone crushing, mind numbing. But most days I do have fun because I have a great team. And I think that's the key part of this whole thing is culture, team, people, and the value you can provide to customers. So yes, I do love what I do.
So give a little bit. You've had a radio program that you've been working on since the last time we spoke. Talk about Jemp Radio, what that's been. I know it's been on and off, but it's been pretty cool.
Well, it's a passion project. We started with a couple hundred listeners a few years ago. We're up to 300,000 weekly listeners. It's an internet radio show called Jemp Radio, JEMP. I do 2 shows a week, and it's just unbelievable to see organic growth when you have great content. We do no marketing. It's all word of mouth. We went from 300 or 400 listeners when we launched to today to have 300,000 dedicated listeners who spend over 10 hours a month with us.
Unbelievable.
And I get the chills talking about it. It's just an amazing experience.
So along the lines of music and radio, I think it would be a good segue here to talk to Jaye Watts, a.k.a. LettaJ, a.k.a. the CEO of Coexist Gaming. I thought about this after your episode. You came on the program. I said, so let me get this straight. You're a songwriter, been Grammy nominated. You are running a gaming company. And most importantly, we have to make sure that we're done here by an ample amount of time because you have a gaming competition to compete in tonight. Is this not true, LettaJ?
It is. Yes. So Coexist Gaming, we're actually subscription based. And sorry, my voice is gone because I've been working literally nonstop and hosting competitions and curating them and sort of consulting for other gaming startups. But we are a subscription-based, inclusive gaming and lifestyle brand. Also what I like to call a community-based marketplace for growth and ecosystem through gaming. So we provide a safe space. We have a Coexist Game House for gaming, tech, and entertainment, where we highlight women, we empower children to explore career opportunities within the gaming, tech, and entertainment industries that increase positivity and inclusion for all. So it was me, you know, and Lou and I were kind of talking about this on my episode. I needed to find a way to make my artist self, my engineering self, and my gaming self coexist, and hence the name of the company. But along the journey of really sort of diving into the psychology of why the gaming industry is actually the fastest growing industry in the world, understanding why it was that a third of the human population were gravitating to this industry. It was never a trending thing being a gamer. It was just my geeky side that didn't really matter, you know? And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, this is a thing now, you know? But what I really learned as I started diving into the minutia of this $170 billion industry is that not only were 2.7 out of the 7.7 billion people in the world identifying themselves as gamers, 60% of them were African American. That's 1.6 billion African Americans. Wow. And here's the shocker. If that wasn't already, 47% of that 2.7 billion gamers were women. That's 1.3 billion women, which means I was standing in investor meetings as the majority representation of gamers worldwide. That's good. And the funniest thing was saying that, and then, you know, the number one thing I get when I show up at a tournament with my Kwamba stick that I got from Japan on an international recording artist tour, there to compete in gaming, they were like, wait, are you a gamer? And I'm like, yeah, I'm competing. They're like, you don't look like a gamer. And I was always like, I'm sorry, what does a gamer look like? Yeah. And so, you know, the idea was to really understand there is a psychology behind what makes a person that identifies themselves as a gamer gravitate to a specific game. And so we grew the largest gaming community in New York in under a year by examining the people who identify themselves as gamers and being able to sort of extrapolate and create initiatives that really dove into who their lives were as people who game.
I like it. And for those that need to see this, we'll make sure we put it in the show notes. Obviously, we're not going to make you sing today, Jaye, because I know your voice is gone. Yeah, but she's unbelievably talented. And the video you made in the midst of COVID, can you give a quick highlight about that? Because I thought it was great because you really captured what's going on in Brooklyn, in the city, right in the heart of when COVID was hitting New York at its hardest. Can you share a little bit about that?
Of course. It was during the quarantine. My family is both in Texas and DR, and everyone was looking at the news like New York was the new freaking apartheid Armageddon. Like, it was like crazy. And so my birthday was on May 1st. It was on May 1st. And I wanted to create a music video that would encapsulate what was happening, but also really pay tribute to all of the essential workers that were sort of sacrificing themselves day in and day out. And amidst everything that was happening, the one thing that really took precedent was love. And so the video is called Love is Love. And it just, here's the coolest thing. You probably didn't know this, Lou. I shot a big part of it in my apartment. But when I stepped outside, this was the first sunny day that we had, because there was like a series of just the most depressing days. Every day was like rainy and just despondent and dismal. And so I'm like, oh my God, the sun is out. And I'm shooting a video. So as soon as I walked outside, we were just capturing B-roll because there were signs like great forgiveness and all these things. And every person in the music video was a stranger.
Yeah.
Every person had a mask, like they were like talking through the mask. Hey, are you shooting a video? I'm like, yeah, we're just sort of paying, tribute to the essential workers. Oh, well, you want any extras? I'm like, yeah, I'd love for you to make a video. That's cool. So
you had mailmen, you had delivery people, you had like
the fresh direct guy, the guy, random people in passing. And it showed that love is love. It doesn't have a face. It doesn't have a race. It doesn't have a gender. It doesn't have a status. Love is love. And it really took precedent, and it was just searing throughout that video. So every time I watch it, I'm super happy.
No, it's really good. It's a great song, and maybe we'll use it as our track going in and out of this theme, if it's okay with you. I need permission from I need rights permission from the writer and creator. So I'll talk to you afterwards, see if we can get that done. And along those lines, which is perfect timing because I was giving this update. Don't worry, your fans, something's wrong with the Facebook stream. So I figured, why not have the Facebook Live guru go on next year and tell me what the hell's going on? But don't worry, we will use this as a live stream party afterwards because this is podcasting on the fly and it's live on YouTube, but I can't figure out what's going on there. Why not talk to the prepared performer? Because she's always prepared. Hello, Molly. Molly, what's going on in your world?
Hey, so much. I just want to sit here and listen to all of you, though. there's so much goodness in this one place. Oh my gosh. So for us, really, for some reason yesterday hit home to me in a big way, because I, as a professional performer in New York for 8 years, musical theater, national tours, all that kind of stuff, now in what we do, we have a marketing consultancy. Really, we help people to use live video, messenger automation to both monetize and grow their visibility. And I am someone who has been like begging my artist friends to get online more and to do, there's so many potential while you're touring with a Broadway show, you could be teaching lessons on Zoom, and they've been so resistant. And yesterday I had this moment where I realized, because of everything that's happened in the world over the past several months, one of my clients, who is, as far as I'm concerned, the most amazing vocal coach in the entire world, he launched a book in the middle of all this crazy because of what's happened. And I'm not going to say the numbers out loud because I don't think he necessarily feels comfortable sharing it, but what they generated in sales and in lives changed from this book has actually blown my mind in just 6 weeks. And he now has a full online program. He has all of these things. And what happened was, because he had been showing up online just a little bit, even though there was some resistance to it, as soon as all of this happened, this world of opportunity presented itself. And this morning, I took a dance class with another good friend of mine, Tim Hughes, who was my dance partner on the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang National Tour. And he's in Hadestown on Broadway right now, which is obviously not running. But he has this whole program that he's now doing online. And just between the two of them, even though they are, friends and not even necessarily fully in our programs, they're people that I've been helping as friends and, working as clients. It's like everything that I have been trying to convince the world to do for the past 8 years, they're finally seeing the possibility. It took a global pandemic for them to realize that just from home, there's so much possibility of ways that we can have a positive effect on the world by embracing the crazy technology instead of fighting it, and recognizing, nothing will replace human connection. But I mean, just from that story that you just shared, it's something that we are craving. And that if we can combine our humanness with technology and recognize that if just one person shows up to watch your video, that's enough. I've been really emotionally affected by it recently, that how much awesome has actually happened because we were forced to be creative and innovative. So,
it's interesting because I think about it. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. And you mentioned that point that we do crave connection. And if there was ever something that I recognized when this all happened, I actually observed how many more people started listening to our podcast program. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think that number really ever mattered. And I'm totally honest, I used to care a lot about downloads and accounts. And by the way, the numbers that this show has hit, also a little bit of the timing that it came to market, right? Because we started out early on, it was a big show. Mm-hmm. But to your point, I got a message in a DM within Twitter from someone I've never met, and they had listened to an episode of one of our guests. We recently had a gentleman on the show who overcame a family member who committed suicide. And I didn't even know the story when I had the guest on. And this guy's actually thrived through overcoming he was a teenager when this happened. Jason Holzer, we'll give a shout out to who that is. And I had people say that episode actually connected with them, and they were having bad feelings during this time right now where everyone feels a little isolated because they're craving connection. They feel lonely. And the message actually said, thank you for giving me something to listen to, like a real important thing. And when I look back at why I did this show, I knew incredible people. I knew people like Andy. I worked with people or in the same circles with Ramon. I got to meet other folks at different conferences, and my paths crossed with all these people like Sue and Molly, and most recently Jaye. And it's this type of thing that recognized that we all have the ability, even not leaving our house, to really thrive and connect with one another in ways that we want to, because that's what we're trying to do. In all the business, in our business with our clients, and try as a way that we can connect them, and the way that we can help our businesses grow, or people to connect from their living rooms while they're spreading peanut butter and jelly for their kids for lunch, all these things. I think it's great. And what I wanted to do with the five of you is something that I did with a lot of the other guests who couldn't be here today because they just didn't want to hang and be as, they didn't look as good as all of you. I mean, that's the reality. I mean, that's the truth. Or they had too much hair if they were men. We'll keep going back to that. I'm going to ask you one question. We're going to go around, and that is, how can we thrive together? That's been the theme that I've been asking across social media, and we've gotten some unbelievable responses. So I'm going to go kind of in reverse order. Molly, how can we thrive together?
Here I was thinking, I get to listen to everybody else's answer, and then
you're a prepared performer, and you know how to act on your feet.
Okay, yes. So I will actually say, it might be a little mind bendy, but the best way that we can thrive together is by speaking to one person. Because when we speak to one person in our messaging, that's the way that we'll actually be able to connect with the most amount of people. So an example of this is Mr. Rogers, and he actually said this in his. Like, if we think of someone in the world that we can say, like, brought a community together for good, that, that is like the definition of thriving. I think Mr. Rogers pretty much does that. And in the documentary, someone asked him, why was your show such a success? Like, why do you think it was such a success? And he said it's because he showed up and he spoke to one person. Yeah. So rather than thinking like, oh, we got to get all these numbers and, hey, everybody out in Facebook, hey, it's like really just have that conversation with one human. And that, I think, allows us to be able to, make deeper connections so that when we do come together, we rising tides lift all ships or whatever. So we connect more as a community as well.
LettaJ, how can we thrive together?
Not to add a shameless plug, it's an unapologetic plug, coexisting. Because what that means for us is 3 words: changing the narrative, understanding that the human race needs to take precedent. For us, we literally create initiatives focused on thriving, not just surviving, about really deteriorating the mentality of survival and understanding the etymology of what it means to thrive, what it means psychologically, what it means inherently as a person. In order for you to thrive, it's eradicating a very singular mentality. It's understanding the necessity and how integral it is to come together, respect each other, really formulate a team of perspectives, varied or not, because independence, it would all be so boring if we were not so diverse. And so changing the narrative, comprehensively understanding what it means to be an individual and how do I take what you have, what I have, what he has, what she has, and building something so freaking awesome and coexisting, then we can really thrive. And coexist.
I just want to take her and bottle her up and put her in someplace so I could just open her up whenever I need her. That's what I want to do with you, Jay. I can't get enough of you. You're amazing. Andy, how can we thrive together?
I've started doing this. I don't know. It riffing off both of the other comments. It's so easy to get stuck in your circle, to get stuck in the group of people that you rely on, that are your direct reports in business, your close friends. I've made an effort. We have a couple hundred employees. I've made an effort to reach out beyond that circle to make people feel good on a daily basis, to pick 1 or 2 people a day. Sometimes they won't pick up their phone, but I have every one of my employees, when they start, I have their mobile number. And I try to reach out, whether it's an engineer, a product person, a salesperson, a marketing person, an ops person, a finance, just a random person once a day. And it could be as little as a 2-minute phone call and outreach. Those outreaches in this world will be remembered long after this COVID crisis. And I promise you, if there's anything that I've done that I feel as though would qualify as the thrive, that would be it.
I love it. I also love the fact that I guess the way this graphic is going to work is that I permanently tattooed the 500 logo on top of Andy. We're going to have to give Andy. We're going to give his own little speech. There we go. So we can always when the recording eventually comes out and how it works. Sue, how can we thrive together?
We can definitely listen. Yeah. I think if I've learned anything from the last 3 months, it's been to listen and learn. I'm from New Zealand. I've lived here for 8 years. I've spent the last 3 months studying Black history. It has blown my mind, but listen, have conversations with as many people as you can and listen to them. Have conversations with as many as your clients and followers as you can and listen to them. They will tell you what they love about you. They will tell you what they hate about you. They will tell you what they need from you. They'll tell you what they expect from you. And you don't have to, if you have any audience, you don't have to ask them what you want, what they want you to be. You just have to listen to what they want, listen to where they interact, how they interact, when they interact. Watch and listen to people. I'm a professional speaker and I learn more from listening than I do from anything else. Love yourself. If you do not love and accept who you are, you will never love and accept another human being, another client, another person. You absolutely cannot ask the universe for anything, and you absolutely cannot receive money. So learn to love yourself, and then you can be open to loving all other people. And mostly, I think you need to come out of this pandemic, or not, you don't need to do anything. Consider that you're coming to this pandemic this year and saying, what don't I like about my life? Because I'm not prepared to live a fake life. I don't want to live a life that I don't want to live. So there was a whole lot of things that I want to let go of, that I never want to do, see, or be part of again, because this pandemic has taught me tomorrow is not promised to anybody. Frankly, life's too short. So if you don't do what you truly want to do, you got to get up and make it work. So I've been saying to everybody, what do you want to let go of? Let it go and don't bring it back to your new world. It's done. Whether it's 2021 or wherever we are, let the pandemic be the biggest shakeup of your life and reset yourself, reinvent yourself, and just live your life and just listen. Please listen. You must listen. I don't care if you think people are having an experience completely inauthentic from you. Just listen to what they're experiencing. Your whole world will change.
Just like I wanted to bottle up LettaJ's awesomeness, I want to bottle up Sue's accent. How many of you guys just want to take that New Zealand accent home with you?
Yeah, I get that a lot.
I love what you say.
Like a map voice or something.
Yes.
Everyone tells me they want me to do their
map quiz.
Well, it's actually
GPS.
funny, and that's a good segue, because Ramon and I actually know the woman who she's the GPS for the Australian accent. So I know there's a little different one for Kiwi. That's correct, Ramon, right?
The GPSgirl.com.
Yep, that's right. We know her very well. We give her a shout out. She's coming on in a couple of months, by the way. Ramon, how can we thrive together? Bring us home.
And Sue, just before I answer, Sue, I didn't hear what you were saying. What did you say? What were your comments?
To listen. You're really funny. Such a pain in the neck.
Turn your mic on.
Yeah. He was too busy having syrup and pancakes and bacon. That's what was going on.
But no, Lou, thank you so much. These comments were awesome. I think the biggest thing I've learned, one, is empathy. I think that's what I've been looking at, so much empathy and care. I think I've seen as there's been so much divisiveness on all sides. All of us have issues. But I think, man, if we're just empathetic, if I can put myself in Andy's shoes and Jay's shoes and Sue, and et cetera, my point is, if we're able to put empathy more, would it be a better place, even if I disagree? So I think that's one. And I think, two, going back to taking a page from what Andy said, one thing I've done, not calling so much, but I love the WhatsApp app, doing a lot of voicemails, meaning I'm sure you can do the same thing in Messenger, WhatsApp, I like the format better. And I have a group of 10 young men. You could do it with girls too, but men, I can call them all the time, nothing hanky-panky. So I just have a group of 10 men, young boys who I call all the time. And just reach out and we mentor, we talk, they call me, I call them, how are you doing, what's up? And so that's kind of what I do quite a bit. And one anecdote to that, Lou, and everyone, I had started a kind of a men's group, to meet on a regular basis, because I got this from another person. I stopped it because I figured nobody's interested. It's just me and just my naivety, right? This one dude. So I said, guys, we're canceling it because nobody's interested. You hear all these words, nobody, just one dude. And he said, I was on the call. And I'm like, poor kid. He was on the Zoom call, but Ramon, because nobody was there. So my learning, meaning, even if I can help this one kid who's struggling, newly married, he looks up to me and I didn't even know it. So if that helps a bit what I'm trying to say, Lou, I don't know what I'm saying, but if that story helps whoever's listening, if that makes sense.
If anyone's ever want to be entertained, you have to see when Ramon and I are on the same stage together, juggling around. We confuse the audience, but we leave them feeling like they've gotten really tired and they have a workout. Ramon Ray, Sue Bryce, Andy Monfried, LettaJ, Jaye Watts, Molly Mahoney, 5 amazing guests, Here to celebrate a fun day. 500 episodes. I tried to imagine what this would be like. It was absolutely nothing like it, but it was way better because you guys provided so much great value. I was going to run through and ask you guys, some of the speed round things we do, but this was way better. And this was much more fun because I think we actually have a message here, and that's what we want to continue to do. Because I don't know if we're going to go to 5,000 episodes. Whoever.
Yes. Lou, before you go on, Lou, can I take the mic a minute?
Why would this be any different than any other instance with Ramon Ray? As long as Letta doesn't have the machinery to add in sound effects and everything else that she would do in a song, then we're okay. So.
Thank you for your permission and trust, Lou. Can we just go around the room and say why we appreciate Lou? With your permission, Lou, may I take your mic?
You're going to make me more red than I am, but go ahead. Okay.
So I'm going to start with Andy.
I think Andy should go last because he's known me the longest.
Okay, let's go. I'm going to start with LettaJ and go on. Since Lou's given me permission to take the mic, real quick, because I'm sure time is short. LettaJ, what do you appreciate about Lou, what he's built, Thrive Loud? Tell him.
I appreciate Lou because you are a breath of fresh air. You, separate than Thrive Loud, literally made me just feel I already have an unreasonably optimistic perspective when it comes to believing in people. I look for the good in people, and you just really were the catalyst. I'm like, you know what? No, keep going because there are people like you that are diamonds that literally, all the puns, okay? But then the show Thrive Loud, I talked so fervently about what thriving means to flourish. It starts from a place of just understanding your value. And it means everything to me when people give other people a platform to simply express what they're passionate about, who they are, to acknowledge that, to be felt, to be connected. That is so beautiful. There are not enough words to appreciate what I think about you and how much it means to me. So,
amen. Molly, you're up, please.
Crying at the end of this episode. My goodness. It's unbelievable.
So if I am going to think of someone who actually lives out loud, like you embody you embody that idea of living out loud. And I think similar to what Jay was saying is that I think that you also pull that out of people. And I'm so grateful for the time that we got to spend in person at New Media Summit because I this is just random, but the way that you tell stories is not like you're just, telling a story. You are telling a story. And I think that it's something that people can experience through the podcast, and I know it comes through vocally, but also just the physical embodiment of the way that you actually, you spread that joy and you bring that energy out in others too. And so with having the platform like this, where you're allowing this vehicle for so many people to really help others and share ways that we can thrive out loud. It's having that bigger impact. It's not just about it's awesome to be in the presence of you and experience that energy from you, but you're also allowing others to share that energy as well by creating this awesome platform. So thanks, you.
Awesome. Sue, Bryce, thank you, Molly.
Everything the girls just said, and I will just also add, I would talk to you for literally hours because I just love people that want to talk about business ideas, positivity, growth. You talk about moving, always moving, growing, thriving, living, they're verbs, they're doing words. And I'm just constantly, I'm always stuck with the, but who will spend that money? But am I confident? But I have so much fear. And that when people are starting businesses, all they tell you is what they can't do. And it's so nice to just be around people that can talk about ideas and be limitless and talk about action and goals and focus and big dreams and creation. And that spins my world every single day. I just want to talk to people that are into growth and movement and joy. And you can just get so stuck in the blocks and the fears and the drama, but it's so nice to just be constantly looking out and doing something about it.
Awesome. And for me, thank you so much, Sue. And for me, and then Andy, you'll close us out, and I'll turn the mic back to my friend Lou, who's allowed me to take over his show. For me, Lou, I remember, Lou, when you gave that talk at NSA about distractions and looking at other people. A lot of things I could say great about you, Lou, but I think that's one thing, as I think Molly may have said, You're such a great storyteller. And I think that has been so impactful, Lou. When I get down looking at somebody else, wow, they posted that on LinkedIn. It's only been 30 seconds. They have 30,000 likes. And I'm thinking what a moron I am. I go back to that talk that Lou gave us, like, stop looking. I mean, you can look with respect at others. We want to follow each other and learn, but like, stop looking at each other. Look at what you're doing to be happy. So Lou, you're just an amazing breath of fresh air for sure. And you're just amazing. So Andy, close us out. Then it's back to Lou's show.
First of all, great comments from everybody. And I just want to say, I've known Lou for 35 years. We were counselors at a summer camp together 35 years ago. And not to get choked up, but
we both had. Andy actually had really long hair. We both had mullets. To be clear, we did.
But not to get emotional, but I just have to say that to watch our careers have traveled in this parallel path, and to watch how you have grown and matured, and most importantly, your career and your focus has been what you mentioned, Sue, bringing positivity to others. And you share that content, you share that energy, and I can only say you've enriched all of the people I've put you in contact with personally. But you've coached people, you've given seminars for people that I've introduced you to, and I'm happy to continue to do so because you've got rave reviews from everybody I've done that with. And I can never repay you enough for all the good energy you've shown and pushed out from yourself. So I speak for many when I say thank you for everything, Lou. You're a diamond in the rough, my man.
How do I possibly continue from this point? Well, years ago, I got caught in an extemporaneous speech exactly at the camp that Andy were at, and I couldn't remember what to say, and I just said, "I love you all," which is a true story and true to this point because I love all the guests that come on the program. We establish a connection, and what this show has always been about is trying to do that, and that's what I love to do the most. But maybe more importantly, is all those things that I try to pull out of people is because I know how powerful finding those positive things are. And I'm only inspired and lifted up by amazing, thriving individuals like yourself. So Ramon Ray, Molly Mahoney, Jaye Watts, Andy Monfried, Sue Bryce, here on the 500th episode of Thrive Loud, which is just absolute, which is right on top of Andy's head for those that will watch this graphic.
It's his glasses.
And I can't thank you enough for being here. All the guests. We're going to continue rolling. We got tons of guests next week. There's other podcast programs that are coming up, which we'll give more about, but this was about honoring these amazing guests. Follow this video when you see it, eventually wherever the heck you're going to see it. I'm going to have to call Molly for advice. And I think I'm going to sign off the show like I always do for everybody. Keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
Thank you.
You guys will rock.